This video will discuss Chapter 12.1, Three-Dimensional Figures. And so I'm going to spend some time taking a look at the book on this one. And so I want to take a look at this concept summary here on the top of the page. And I really want you to focus on the idea of what it is that each of them is being called. So let's see if I can get this a little bit better. So a triangular prism. Okay, and the idea is that a prism has two bases. So you'll notice this prism has two bases, whereas a pyramid only has one base, right? So it comes up to a point on top, whereas these have a base on both the top and the bottom. So a triangular prism is a figure that has two bases, and each base is a triangle, hence the name triangular prism, right? And so the base here is triangle. Now you'll notice that the sides are rectangles, and so a lot of people confuse the base as the rectangles, and that's not necessarily the case. And so you got to be really careful, particularly with something like this. If they show it to you on its side, it would be sitting on with a rectangle, whereas the base would still be the two triangular bases on each side. So they may not necessarily always be top and bottom, right? If you were to turn this so it were laying on its side, you'd still have a triangular prism. And a rectangular prism, a lot of times kind of looks like a cube. And so this has not only rectangles on the sides, but also rectangles as the top and the bottom. And so this one is sometimes more difficult to figure out which is the base, which is the top. And a lot of times it just depends on which way it's sitting. So if I were to move it so that we're now laying on its side, you could basically have a different base and you'd still be okay. So this triangular prism has a base with triangles. A rectangular prism has two bases, and they are rectangles. Now a triangular pyramid is a pyramid, right? So now the sides are triangles, but the base is also a triangle, and it comes to a point. And then a rectangular pyramid has a rectangle base and also comes to a point. You'll notice the four sides are also triangles with the rectangular pyramid. And then finally, if you look at a cylinder is essentially a circular prism, right? It has two bases that are circles, and then a cone is essentially a circular pyramid, as it is just a circle on the bottom and comes up to a point. So that's one thing I want you to see. Now if you come, I'm going to flip this page. Up here, I want to look at this example. And I want to take a look at what happens if I take a cone and I cut it vertical, so I'm going straight down. I cut it at an angle, or I cut it horizontally. And so if you take this picture of the cone, I'm going to show you the drawing. If I were to cut the cone straight down, it would look something like this, right? So a cone just cut straight in half is essentially going to look like a triangle if you're just looking at it almost from a distance. If you cut it at an angle, so you kind of slice this cone, it's going to actually look kind of like almost like it's called a parabola, could look kind of like a half circle, a semicircle, though it's not necessarily a perfect circle. This is if it's sliced at the angle, and then horizontally, if you just cut it straight across, it's going to be a circle. And so if you take a look at these, I'm going to come back to the picture of the cone. Right, if you look up here, my book closed on us. If you take a look up here, this is going to give me the triangle. This is going to give me that kind of parabola, kind of almost like a half circle, and this is going to give you the circle. Alright, so that's all I got for you today on three-dimensional figures. Thanks very much for watching the video. Don't forget to do the problems on the bottom of the page. See you in class.